What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, August 13th. How's my favorite audience of zero doing here? I'm sure you're all doing fine. Infinitely fine. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's very silly, but I enjoy those types of stupid ass humor. So let's dive right in. What's going on in the world of biotech today? Thyrocolinum data heats up lung cancer drug battle. Are any of these a small company? Is it Palertinib? This is pretty interesting. We'll probably take a look at it. Let's see. Pardon me. Lilly files 6 lawsuit. PTC takes a chance on Sangamo's Fabry disease gene therapy. Maybe we'll come back to it. Psychedelic drug on the LSD. Boulevard starch. Okay. I believe we covered all that yesterday. Biotech startups, 10 clinical trials to watch. Dupixent. Yeah, we did all that. Okay. So maybe these two are of interest. This one's interesting. HEMAP CEO seeks flavor of a multi-product coagulation company. Their post-IPO quiet period has come to an end. Benny Sorensen, MD, PhD, was free to sit down with fears to map out HEMAP's future. All right. I didn't know that there's a post-IPO silence period that you can't talk to any journalists about the company that you just raked in millions for. So that's kind of odd. PTS halts phase 3 cancer therapy to focus PDS. Focus on colorectal cancer. What's PDS? Pfizer vet debut Cardis with sights set on thyroid eye disease. Cardis. PTC bets 211 special opportunity to enter Fabry market. Taiho and Colinum. Zealand sells rights to Takeda's blood cancer drug for $100 million. Sells rights. Okay, we'll take a look at it. Why not? AI clinical trials. Yeah, I think today's news is a little bit thin, but it's all good. We will just glean through that. Let's see. Stocks to watch. Zentalis launches proposed public offering. Pentos. Inovio share jumps 18% after Q2 beat. Selectar targets mid-2027 accelerated approval for iopofosine in Wilms tumor. I don't know what WM is. VM. Like, if they're German, then they're calling this VM, which means Weltmeister, which is another word for the World Cup. So basically, they're going to get an accelerated approval of this drug in the World Cup, which is fantastic because the soonest that we can do that is in 4 years' time, because we just had the US, Canada, Mexico World Cup wrapping up last month, which is actually this month, last month, which is quite a spectacular event on a global scale. So anyway, ADC Therapeutics signals cash runway into 2028 while assessing Lotus 5 regulatory path forward. Mink outlines 4 to 8 patients per site per month. US ARDS enrollment starts in September. Monopart cuts to neutral on cancer valuation. Karyopharm outlines potential myelofibrosis approval. Abiona outlines shift to patient treated and net revenue. reporting target 80% steady state growth margins. Cytokinetics sues Bristol Myers Squibb. Abiona drops after Q2 revenue miss. MapLight Therapeutics secures 150 million in PIPE funding. What does PIPE funding mean? Let's look that up. I know all you finance geeks must know all this terminology and lingo. Funding meaning. Actually, you aren't geeks. You're jocks. Finance douchebags, right? Jocks and douchebags. Doofus, let's see, stands for private investment in public equity. It occurs when a publicly traded company sells stocks or convertible securities directly to private institutional investors on a negotiated discount, allowing the firm to raise capital quickly while bypassing lengthy registration rules for standard secondary public offering. Gotcha. Matt, BioInfinity. So essentially, they're just going through the back door for some additional fundraising. BioInfinity Technologies prices $4 million private placement. Yeah, what's the difference between PIPE and private placement? Let's try that. Nah. PIPE versus right here. Wow, Gemini read my mind. A private placement is a general method where any company sells unregistered shares to a small group of investors, whereas a PIPE is a specific type of private placement used exclusively by companies that's already traded on public stock exchange. Okay, so private placement can be done by even private companies. Gotcha. Olema Oncology named Jason O'Brien O'Byrne as CFO. Is that how you say it? Damn, that Irish word is hard to pronounce. Chief gains as Morgan Stanley initiates at overweight on anti-smoking agent. Dyadic International secures 2.9 million. Curious price 5.6 million. Sagimet higher on FDA clearance of late stage acne trial. Okay. Cullinan rises. Outlook Therapeutics after pricing 55 millions. Okay. Longeveron. Can you guess what this company does? Mid-September. That's pretty awesome. I'm going to take a look at that. Longeveron, just because it's got such a cool name. Biocarta outlines Japan Cardiac MP. Dyadic. Transferring cost reduction. Sparrow outlines cash runway. Cura. Sarah. Allogene. FDA fast track. Alpha 3 sites. Inovio. Zealand gains some funding from Royalty Pharma. Okay, I think I will cover that in a bigger story. New Taiho Cullinan data heats up. Lung cancer battle. What's this battle about? The finding physician their drug. Zipalitinib is a threat to multiple approved medicines. Set a bar. Taiho phase 3 trial in frontline lung cancer. It's a big deal, no? Exon 20 insertion in a gene called EGFR. Yeah, that's a very common mutation in lung cancer, although exon 20 insertion itself is not as common. It's already reviewing zipalertinib as a second-line treatment. If approval, add to already competitive market battle. Johnson Johnson's Rybrevant, AstraZeneca and Dizals, Zegfravi are both. Dizal's Chinese, right? Yeah, there we go. Pharma. Jiangsu Pharma Company. That sounds Korean, but that's Chinese because I'm Chinese, so I know my Chinese. Jiangsu. That sounds Jiangsu. Jiangsu. Yeah, that sounds so Korean. Okay. Dive insight. Exon 20 insertion mutation are present in only small fraction of no anywhere from 1 to 10% EGFR mutations. So it's 10 to 15% of all lung cancers, and 1 to 10% of those are EGFR exon 20 insertions. That is quite rare. Still targeted, can be big business opportunities, surpasses 7 billion. Rybrevant pulled in 700 million. China-based Dizal up to 1.5 billion. Taiho and Colonum asked for an approval in second line setting based on phase 2 trial that shrank or eliminated tumor in more than a third of the patients who received it. The phase 3 trial in first line disease is comparing zipalertinib and combo and chemo to chemo and a placebo. But why aren't they comparing it to Tagrisso? Maybe because Tagrisso doesn't work in exon 19, not exon 19, exon 20 insertions. Okay. Yeah, exon 19, exon 20 are the, I guess, what are they called? The hot spots of EGFR. So exon 20 is a very small um, fraction. Insertions are very small fraction of all the eligible mutations that can be treated by EGFR inhibitors in both in first and third generation setting. I believe I'm right about that. Let's see. Raise the competitive bar. So yeah, basically, how did Colinum Therapeutics stock? Let's see, $19. They're only up 20%, 0.2%. Pardon me. Oh my God. Oh, can't read for shit. Therapeutics. When did they IPO? 2023. Well, definitely before January 8th, 2021. Okay. So they've been around. They've been around. And their stock price have come down quite a bit. Well, it's interesting, but yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be a fantastic story to cover here. Market cap 1.26 billion. Well, that's decent, but not great in terms of its market value. Because see, like all of the recent acquisitions are up to like 10 billion, right? Something anywhere from 1 billion to 10 billion are the sweet spot of all these new 2026 pharma biotech M&A deals. So yeah, not sure if these guys are going to be the next M&A target. What about Taiho? Taiho Pharma. Atsuka Holdings. Tokyo. Okay. Well, interesting, but I think I'm going to take a pass on that story. PTC takes a chance on Sangamo's Fabry disease. Wall Street analysts view the deal as risky, high reward, high risk, as risky, high reward bet on a treatment that's nearing a possible regulatory approval. It could be superior to existing medications. PTC Therapeutics agreed to spend as much as $211 million to take over and advance experimental gene therapy from a company mired in bankruptcy proceedings, developing the treatment. I don't know. Sangamo Therapeutics. Decade-old company that has once on the cutting edge of genetic medicine. Pioneered zinc finger editing. That sounds delicious. Chicken fingered zinc finger. The zing. What is it called? The zinger from KFC. Zinger, zing finger, zinger. Damn, that is so good, man. KFC, free commercial for you, man. If anybody's listening to this, the zinger is probably the best thing ever happened since sliced bread. That's just the fact. Initially striking deals, put key assets to sale for sale. Estella's, Eli Lilly for programs, Zinc Finger Technology. Stalking horse bidders in the action, providing baseline offers for the assets. Lilly won its part after agreeing to pay $50 million in cash. PTC prevailed in competitive bidding process to claim ST920 for $111 million. What exactly is a stalking horse? Let's see. What is stalking horse bidder? The first company or person makes an initial offer on the assets that is going through bankruptcy. This first bid sets a baseline price, stops other people from making very low offers. Fair public auction. I see. Fair enough. Fair. Fair. Gene therapy somewhat out of favor. Okay. PTC. Well, they're competing against Lilly on this product, on this auction. PTC Therapeutics. Let's see, how big is this company? 6.1 billion. And they've been around for ever. Since 2015, 2014, 2013. Yeah. Wow. It's a U.S. pharma company focused on development of orally administered small molecule drug and gene therapy. Interesting. They're in New Jersey. And okay. Nothing too remarkable. Good to know. PDS halts work on phase 3 cancer therapy to focus on colorectal contender. PDS Biotechnology called time on its phase 3 head and neck cancer therapy to channel resources. Another New Jersey Biotech. PDS, now we talk about PTC. Evaluate Versamune HPV, an HPV-specific T-cell stimulating immunotherapy, also known as PDS-0101, in combination with Keytruda in HPV-16 positive head and neck squamous cell carcinoma. Frank Bedu Adel, PhD, told shareholders in an April 11th letter, following a comprehensive review of our development portfolio, we decided to prioritize tumor-target IL-2 immunocytokine PDS-0301 instead. Metastatic colorectal, potential to implement a broad range of current emerging oncology therapy, already assessing therapies potential in recurrent prostate cancer. Metastatic castration, Kaposi sarcoma, HPV-16 positive cancers. Maybe I should raise some capital to develop this product, the PDS-0101. Let's do that. Let's pick up the phone and call some friends. Some very powerful friends on the hill. Ha ha ha. Pfizer's former chemistry whiz debuts Cardis Therapeutics with $95 million for thyroid eye disease pill. Thyroid eye disease. Isn't the thyroid different organ from the eye? After Robert Hoffman sold. Isn't this guy a part owner of the Roche family of Hoffman La Roche? No, I'm sure they aren't related. Sold Zintera. whatever the new generation Zindara actress. What's her name? Zindara, no? Zinthera to Gilead, the veteran Pfizer chemist, has unveiled his latest venture. Gilead bought the latter Biotech mainly for its promising oncology small molecules. Zinthera. That's interesting. In 2024, Series B was led by Forge Life Science Partners. Primary goal, Cardis, push a potential pill for thyroid eye disease into clinical trials. In TED, inflammation behind the eye cause bulging, irritation, and a suite of other discomforting symptoms. They're IGF-1R targeting. Protein already drugged by Amgen's first-in-class blockbuster Tepezza and Viridian Therapeutics recently approved Lumvoa. But these approved medicines are administered as IV infusions, not a pill. TD remains a serious burden for highly underserved patients, said Chris Murphy's PhD, Cardis' co-founder and chief scientific officer. I mean, it is interesting, but I'm actually more interested in this company, the Zindara. How did Robert Hoffman create or found Zinthera? Did found Zinthera and discover its leading pipeline drugs? That's my question. Question of the day. Cardis, a little less interesting. Zealand sells its rights to Takeda's blood cancer drug for $100 million ahead of FDA approval decision. As FDA mulls over, approved Takeda protagonist Rusfertide. Zealand Pharma has sold its own rights to the blood cancer drug in return for $100 million. They're expecting FDA decision. Mimics the action of hepcidin, a natural hormone that regulates iron homeostasis and red blood cell production. Protagonist has previously touted the drug as a way for PV patients. Oh, right there. Polycythemia vera. Reduce, even eliminate the need for regular phlebotomy. Takeda paid protagonist $300 million upfront for rights to the drug candidate, but Zealand's history with Rusfertide stretches back in 2012, where the Danish biopharma entered a research collaboration with protagonists to develop disulfide-rich peptides. That agreement gave Zealand's responsibility for clinical development and any resulting DRPs. I guess Rusfertide is a DRP. DRPs discovered under this collaboration partnership was terminated in 2014, but Zealand retained economic interest in what would become Rusfertide. Now, the Copenhagen Zealand has agreed to sell its economic interest to Royalty Pharma for a total of $100 million. This payout will consist of $50 million upfront, remaining $50 million due in a year. Zealand, which described Rusfertide as a non-core asset, has 14 billion Danish kroner, 2.2 billion in the bank. At the end of June, the company said the fresh cash could help fund its strategy to launch 5 products by 2030. All right. Some exchange of cash, or you call it exchange of cash, exchange of hands for the cash. Longeveron. Let's see, what do they do? Longeveron is approaching a series of potentially transformative milestones, which are 4 stem cell therapy developing programs, while iterating La Rome's Nice, nice. Uh-huh. Thank you, Siri. Now you can shut up. Uh, I focused. That scared me. Scared the shit out of me. Somebody was talking like behind me. My God. Focus on our development activity prioritize are most important. Publish clinical trial results which indicate Laromestrocel increases 6-minute walking distance. Outlook. BLI. Is this a publicly traded company? It is. LGVN. Clinical stage biotech company developing cellular therapies for life-threatening. Let's see, what pipeline did they have? Investors news. Pipeline. Lead investigator, regenerative medicine specialist in cellular therapy derived from the bone marrow of young healthy donors. It's allogeneic mesenchymal stem cell therapy. How it works: anti-inflammatory, provascular, regenerative repair, multiple serious life-threatening conditions, including HLHS, left heart syndrome, Alzheimer's disease, pediatric dilated cardiomyopathy, age-related fragility. Oh, that's why it's Longeveron. Phase 2b trials targets physical resilience, function, aging. That's one tough trial to run because you got to deal with people getting old. Sounds pretty daunting. PDS, okay. Zinthera, Bob Hoffman did not actually found Zinthera, but he was pivotal scientific leader, vice president of chemistry. It was originally founded in 2021 by serial biotech entrepreneur scientists, including Stefan Caldor, Dr. Ching, not King, not Queen, Ching Dong, and Dr. Jin Hung, after backing from firms like Foresight Capital and Orbimet. These are the A-listers of biotech VCs. Bob Hoffman's role. Bob Hoffman led the internal research team responsible for designing and optimizing Thera's core portfolio of small molecule therapeutics, leading pipeline targets, PARP1 inhibitors, highly selective PARP inhibitors, MK2 inhibitors, development candidates to control inflammatory and immune responses, cancer cells acquisition by Gilead. The rigorous target selection and rapid preclinical success achieved by Hoffman and his chemistry caught the attention of major pharmas. In 2023, May, Gilead acquired Zinthera. Following the acquisition of Zinthera, Hoffman went on to co-found Cardis Therapeutics. Okay. Did it have any clinical? Did it? Zinthera have any clinical data when it was acquired by Gilead? No. Dang. That was a risky bet for you, Gilead. What was the price? Okay, all right. That's it. And we will end today's call.